Hello, welcome to COM 4800, Diversity and Inclusion. This is our senior capstone for communication majors in the spring 2021 semester. Now, most communication majors do take a capstone near the end of their program, and the capstone is considered a special topics course. So it varies from semester to semester depending on who's teaching it and what their area of expertise is. It usually has an organizational communication focus, but the approach to that can differ a little bit. So my area of expertise besides organizational and interpersonal communication is diversity and inclusion. That was the topic of my doctoral dissertation, and I studied diversity and inclusion in the academy, meaning in the university as a workplace. So I looked at how students talk about diversity and inclusion, how faculty members talk about it, how those two groups talk to each other about it, how does the university enact diversity and inclusion, how does the university talk to the public about diversity and inclusion. All those kind of things are what I study. So in this course, I hope to bring that specific area of expertise to you and give you a look inside what diversity and inclusion means in the workplace. My hope is that this will give you a good foundation for understanding diversity and inclusion in workplaces in the future, and also in teaching others about diversity and inclusion, whether you are doing that as a trainer or just as a coworker. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about what do people already know about diversity and inclusion, what do they need to know, how can we nurture positive behaviors between groups when they are interacting across difference, and topics like that. So I wanted to give you a basic overview since the course description is just diversity and inclusion. You might have been curious as to what approach we're going to take to studying that. I wanted to go through the syllabus with you really quick. I'm not going to read it to you, but I wanted to hit some highlights and describe and elaborate on certain things. So I would recommend that for the remainder of this discussion, you print out the syllabus or bring it up on your screen so you have a copy of it to look at as I go through these highlights. How do you get a hold of me? Starting with the first page of the syllabus, you have all my contact information there, my email address, which email is going to be the best way to get a hold of me. I'm working from home during this time of COVID, so I'm checking my email from here. If you would like to talk to me one-on-one, we can make an appointment to do that over WebEx. I'm not holding structured office hours this semester because in the past when I've done that, either I get a lot of people or no people at all showing up during that specific hour or whatever. And we can work in an appointment many different times of day and different times of the week. So this way you're not limited to a structured schedule. You can say to me, I'd like to meet with you. Do you have any time available on Tuesday? And we can see what we can work out between us. Please don't hesitate to do that. Please don't feel intimidated or shy about asking me for an appointment. I'm very happy to meet with students, and it gives me a break from the solitude to interact with you over WebEx as well. Just remember, I'm not online 24/7. I don't promise to answer emails after 5 p.m. or on weekends. I usually do if I'm online during those times, but I want to give you an idea of when I am pretty sure to be online. Okay, so if you email me on the weekend, I may or may not answer. I probably will if I see your message. But 8 to 5 Monday through Friday is when you can count on an answer from me. Required books. We do have one book. It is called Training and Development, Communicating for Success. I have the second edition listed here on the syllabus, but other editions are okay. I think they're up to the fourth edition now. Whatever you can find cheap is fine. We're going to be using about half of the chapters out of the book. I don't want you to go to a great deal of expense to get it, but if you can find an online version or a rental version or a cheap used copy of an earlier edition, that would be just fine. But you do need to have the book because we will be using it for several of the lessons that we'll be doing this semester. I will also be putting some supplemental readings and materials on e-learning inside the weekly modules. So when you open up a weekly module and you do see a reading on there, like a PDF of an article or something, I'm expecting you to read that for the week in question. We'll get to the schedule in a minute and you'll see what readings go with which weeks. Let's turn over to page 2 of the syllabus, the course description and objectives. There's some language here describing what the course is about and what it is that you're going to learn in this class. You're also going to learn how to write objectives. So I took care to construct these objectives in the proper format so that they are measurable. But on successful completion of the course, you should be able to do the things that are listed there. So if you're wondering what exactly am I going to learn in this course, take a look at that list. There's some really useful things there that you can carry forward into your careers. E-learning, we're going to rely on e-learning for this course since it is an asynchronous online course. Asynchronous means that we're not necessarily online at the same time. So there are modules for each week of the semester. There are assignments due each week of the semester, but you and I don't have to be online at a specific time. Okay, so the whole class isn't going to be online during a specific hour interacting. You can schedule your time in the class according to your preferences. So each week, early in the week, you'll go in and open up that week's module, and there will be readings for you to do or an assignment for you to do. But you can do that anytime during the week. There will be a due date at the end of the week when you need to turn it in. But you're not required to interact with people live online at any specific time. I do expect you to have regular and reliable internet access, and I do expect you to be signing on to e-learning early in the week, opening up the module, seeing what's there and what's required. I also expect you to be checking your WMISH email frequently because that's where I'll be sending messages to the class. Keep in mind that the e-learning site and email are the only means I have of communicating with you right now. So it's going to be important to stay on top of both of those. There will be a certain amount of written work in this class. I tried to keep the written assignments relatively brief, so please don't be intimidated by that. There are no huge lengthy papers. There is a final project, but that can take a lot of different forms, which we'll talk about in a minute. If you're looking for my policies on late work and academic misconduct, they are listed there in the syllabus. If you are a DSS student, Disability Student Services, please contact me directly so that we can arrange for your accommodations. I'm over on to page 5 of the syllabus at this point, where you see a grid with the course assignments and the number of points that each one is worth. We're going to be doing a couple of discussion boards. You're going to be doing a few papers, but when it says paper, those are very brief written assignments. The biggest assignment is the project at the end of the semester, which I'll talk about in a minute, and there is a midterm and a final exam. Turning over to page 7 of the syllabus. This is an important page. This is our schedule. You'll see it's laid out like a grid. It tells you the module number for each week, the due date for that module, the subject matter, the readings, and any assignment that you have. So I recommend that you, let me see if I can show you a little bit. I recommend that you print this page off and pin it up above your computer or stick it in your notebook or whatever it is you do to make sure that you keep your due dates sorted out during the semester. Right now, what I would like to do is to quickly take you through this page. It is page 7 of 7 of the syllabus, and briefly describe the different assignments there. So in week 1, you're going to go open up module 1 and see what's there. You're going to have a discussion board, and the instructions for that will be in module 1. So that's where you'll need to go next after you watch this video. Module 2, you're going to be preparing for an interview that we'll be doing in module 3. Now, there is some text for you to read. In module 2, you're asked to read chapters 1 and 2 of the text. And we're going to be doing an interview prep activity, which will be included in that module. Week 3, we're going to conduct an interview, and I'm not sure yet what form that's going to take. If we're going to have this person on WebEx or if we're going to send her written questions that she will answer. But the person who's going to be working with us on our project this semester is Dr. Stacy Perryman Clark. And Dr. Clark is the head of the African American Studies Department, and she has agreed to work with us. I like my students to have a real project, a real client when they take this course. So she has some challenges she would like us to work on. So we will interview her in some format in week 3 to be announced. Week 4, you'll see you're reading chapter 3 and you'll have another discussion board. Now, discussion boards always have 2 due dates. The first will be for your original post, and the second will be for your replies to others. But those instructions will be given inside each weekly module. Week 5, we're going to talk about survey design, or how you create a questionnaire that's really effective and will give you good information that you want to use for your project. And you'll have a short paper due that week. Weeks 6 and 7, you are doing some reading in the textbook, and you have your survey design paper due, and the midterm study guide will be available. You'll be taking the midterm exam by the end of the day on March 6th. So that takes us through the first half of the semester. You're going to be learning some basic things about how to design your project. We're going to be interviewing Dr. Clark on what her needs are for the project, and she's going to be our professional project partner in this endeavor. After the midterm, you'll see you have certain chapters of the textbook to read. There are some readings on e-learning. Other papers are due, and we will have a third discussion board. Your final project will be something that asks for your creativity, and everyone's will be a little different. But you're going to take all of this information you've accumulated all semester and all these things that you've learned and pull them all together into some sort of artifact that trains people about diversity and inclusion. So you might end up making a video. You might end up making a poster. You might end up making an infographic. You might end up making a handbook. It can take a lot of different forms. We'll talk about that more as we go along, but that's going to give you a chance to be creative. And then you'll see there is a final exam in the course that will be ending on the Thursday of finals week. The due dates in this course are always on Saturdays, except for the final exam ends on a Thursday. So I would recommend that you make a note of that in your planner now so it doesn't sneak up on you by surprise. So that's a very brief overview of what we're going to be doing this semester. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, and be aware that each module is going to give you detailed instructions for each piece of this project. It's a project that we're doing in little bits and little pieces, and each one builds on the last. So we're going to be taking it step by step by step. If all of this seems a little overwhelming right now, or if it seems like a lot, don't fret. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. We're going to take it slowly. We're going to make sure that we understand each step of the process, and you're going to come out in the end with a fantastic project that you can use as you interview on the job market as a calling card, or as a piece that you can demonstrate or show to say, I took this course in diversity and inclusion and I created this training piece about diversity and inclusion. I understand those topics really well right now, and I know how to talk to others about diversity and inclusion. That will be a fantastic talent and skill that you can offer in the workplace. So that's our overview of the course. It's our overview of the syllabus. Now you need to go over to Module 1. Module 1 has your assignment in it for this first week, the week ending January 16th. And in that module, I will explain in detail what it is that you need to do for your first week. I'm really glad you're here. Please get in touch with me soon, and on to Module 1. Thanks.